You're listening to LCC Radio 89.7 WLNZ Lansing. It's the Metal Ball on LCC Radio. Crank it up. LCC Radio, the Metal Ball.
LCC Radio 89.7 coming to you from the campus of Lansing Community College. This is the Metal Ball, another Friday night going into Saturday morning. 1 o'clock hours when it happens.
Starting the night off with 19TilDawn, band out of Battle Creek. Title track from their latest album, Human Race, and very exciting news from them. Recently been signed to Rock Avenue USA. That is cool, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I actually got to know you guys through the Homegrown Throwdown. I ended up catching you guys' show there. I liked it. From there, we kind of connected. And
Yes, sir.
And very excited about the fact that you guys have been signed up. So let's get it started off by just introducing yourselves real quick. And why don't you take a little bit of time, introduce the members that aren't here with you right now.
Jason Bass, rhythm guitars. I've been with the band like, I don't know, 3-4 years now, 3 years.
I'm Chris, I'm the drummer, and I'm the drummer.
I drum. I bang things.
I pick sticks up and put them down.
I'm Jason H. We got two Jasons in the band, which gets a little bit confusing, but I'm the lead vocalist.
All right. And who's not with us today here? In the
Gray.
studio, they're still with us in presence.
In spirit. Always in
spirit.
We got Dean Gray, who's our lead player, and Joe Height, who plays bass.
All right.
They had work issues; they couldn't really get down here, so
No worries there, because we got them on digital audio, if you will. Very cool stuff. Human Race, of course, is the title track from the album. But you were mentioning that that wasn't actually the original title track that you were going to use. Give me a little bit of the backstory on that.
No, yeah. Originally, it was going to be called Summer of Silence, and the reason was because I was actually gone. I'm a service member of the United States Air Force. I've been in for 24 years. I was sent over to Kuwait in 2017, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were there.
That's why I'm laughing. I'm like,
Right.
you don't know.
I was gone pretty much from March to end of October of 2017. And during that time, obviously, we couldn't play, we couldn't do anything. So those two, Chris and Jason, just kind of got together and were just banging out riffs and doing a lot of writing. And they would send me tracks back and forth, and I would write lyrics while I was gone, and I would email it back to them. And we kind of wrote the album while I was gone. But since we weren't able to play pretty much that entire summer, we kind of thought it was a cool idea to name the album Summer of Silence.
Okay.
Problem was finding cover art that worked with that was tough, and we did have something. Originally, it was just a girl with no mouth, and then it got gorier and gorier. Ended up having stitches, and the stitches were bloody, and then it kept on getting. So, long story short, the label contacted us, Rock Avenue Records USA. They hit us up and they wanted to sign us. They were like, we don't really like this cover. It's really up to you guys. It's your band, but I don't think this cover really matches your sound and what you're doing, so you should probably change it. So we had a hard time finding something that fit Summer of Silence.
Sure.
So instead, Chris pretty much took the idea that, well, really all of the subject matter fits talking about the human race in general. There's a lot of things. I mean, whether it's about Outside the Wire, which is kind of about being at war, but it's really more about being at war with yourself. And then Silent Screams is about inner turmoil, and there's everything really. The human element in general is really what this entire CD encompasses. So we thought the human race would probably end up being a better title, and it was much easier to come up with a cover for it.
I think a lot of it comes from what we see going on in the world, kind of take that and, put it to music,
Right.
Or inner thoughts, there's a lot of personal stuff on the album too, Jason wrote, I wrote, Chris arranged a lot of stuff, so I think it all came together really well.
All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about, writing what you do in writing in just a little bit, but since we're on the subject of Summer of Silence, I want to go ahead and play that one real quick, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you for your service. Appreciate you doing that. So here we go. We're going to do Summer of Silence, and come right back and talk a little bit more with 19TilDawn here on LCC Radio 89.7. LCC Radio 89.7 coming from the campus of Lansing Community College. This is the Metal Ball. In the studio guest with me today from Battle Creek. This is 19TilDawn. We were talking a little bit about writing music and what you guys do as far as how that happens. How does it start? I am not a musician myself, so I'm always curious about this, where it starts. Does it start with the lyrics? Does it start with a riff?
Oh, it's different every time.
With me, when I write, it's basic. I mean, I jam all the time, play riffs. So I'll usually start with a drum machine, put a beat on, and it kind of just comes to me, and I'll start putting little bits and pieces together. And once I get a little solid structure, I usually bring it to Chris and Jason or the rest of the guys, and we start building it into, seeing if it's worth the building on, or if it's not, then we move on. So for me, it really just starts with a riff, and then it moves on. And then I think a lot of the stuff that I write musically, Jason, I kind of, he gets an idea of where he wants it to go, and then he does the lyrical thing over top of it. So I'd say a lot of the times, with some of the song material I've wrote, a lot of times lyrics come after the music.
Okay, that's interesting. Because occasionally I have met bands where they write those lyrics first, and then they try to find something to kind of encompass it. As far as the lyrics go, would you say you approach it with more of a poetic standpoint, more of a do you try to find that the hook, as we say in radio? What do you do as far as the starting point goes there?
It depends on, what is that called when you have your muse and...
We'll call it a muse.
Inspiration.
That's a good word.
Inspiration. Think of the word inspiration. So when the inspiration comes from a lot of different places. If some things are happening in your life, certain people in your life have affected you in certain ways, and then you just feel like there's a way that you need to bring it out, and sometimes the lyrics do that. When I write stuff, usually I have both in mind. If I have one song called Drunken Rage that actually Chris and his nephew brought the original concept to me about my friend, actually, which is the funny part, but he affected my life so much that it affected everybody around me too. It was a bleeding effort.
I've seen that before, yeah.
I had a little bit of a riff already going into it I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and then it slowly became Drunken Rage. So I guess a little bit musically it did come first, but it wasn't really meant to. As the lyrics started forming, I was like, oh, I can use this music to that, and then I just kind of put it together and it became something else.
Gotcha. How long have you guys been together now?
We've actually, as a band, 19TilDawn has been around since, I want to say, the end of 2010.
Okay.
Actually, Dean and Joe were just kind of doing stuff together on their own before I came around. They just would get together and they were putting riffs together to a drum track. And actually, all three of us are drummers, sitting here at the table now. But at the time, they were looking to see what else they could do. I think they were just fooling around at the time. I was wanting to get more serious, so I got a hold of Joe and I was like, hey, let's do something. So we got together, I started playing drums, and then just to put some type of vocal flavor in there, I started singing and playing drums.
Did you start out with originals or covers?
Oh, always originals.
Okay.
Yeah, always original. I had some stuff of my own that I'd written, they had some stuff, and then we just kind of meshed together. And then we had Chris came along, and we did have somebody else that came out and stood in for us for a minute so we could get our bearings.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris came in with the demos that we made, and would you take a month? Not
About
even
a month, yeah.
learned what we had, and then came in, and then a little bit while later we ended up with Jason. I think was trading guitars, right, with Joe.
Yeah, our bass player Joe. I'm a big gearhead, way too much equipment, and I just on one of the trade sites we traded gear, and he's like, hey, we're kind of looking for a guitar player. You interested? And I was like, well, I wasn't playing in the bands for a long time at that point. I was just kind of doodling, and then but I was kind of looking to get stuff going. So I met Joe and Chris for the first time, and like I said, I kind of had one riff that we worked on that day, which turned into Star-Crossed Lover, and I've been with the band ever since. It just kind of clicked, and I'm sure it probably did click at first. Everybody's got their, well, we don't know, but long story short, we're all here now, and it's pumping out music.
LCC Radio 89.7, and that is Star-Crossed Lovers. Did I get that right? Star-Crossed Lovers, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
Off of Human Race. The band is 19 Till Dawn. They're in studio with me. Recently signed up with Rack Avenue USA out of Los Angeles. Real quickly, let's take a quick moment just to introduce. We got two guys that aren't here in the band, but just quickly name and what you play in the band.
I'm Jason Highshutter, vocals.
And
I'm Chris. I'm the drummer.
Jason Bass, rhythm guitar player.
again, these guys are 19 Till Dawn. They're out of Battle Creek. If somebody wants to look you up on the Webernet, where do they go?
We got, let's see, Facebook. How do they go? /19TilDawn or something like that. You can find us on Facebook.
One
Instagram.
L in 19
Yes,
Till Dawn.
yes, one L.
One L, yeah.
All one word. And
One word,
the 19. Don't spell out 19. You won't find us that way.
Right.
There's on Facebook. There's Instagram, Twitter,
Twitter, yeah.
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah, a ton of YouTube stuff.
and
You guys got any videos together yet?
We do.
Official music.
We
music
do have.
videos?
We've got a few videos out. They're probably gonna. I don't know. Now that we actually have a label now, so that we might have a little bit more backing to things. I mean, the ones that we've done in the past, they're extremely low budget. In fact, we lost Pavement Records because we had a video that was so low budget that we just didn't want to look at us.
They weren't into it.
They liked us after the fact. We were with them.
Yeah, take a shot, man. You put it together. You do what.
It's just a
do it with-
video.
yeah, I know. You do it with what you got.
Right.
Right.
Well, it was cool because our manager actually called us a few weeks ago, and we played a pretty big show at the Music Factory in Battle Creek last month. And my manager called us, and he said, "Yeah, Pavement said they might have made a mistake." So, because they were there. So,
Well,
They
you,
did.
You live and you learn. You did. Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. You didn't sign us.
That's right.
That's your mistake.
But we're on a good label.
All right,
Yes, for
right.
sure.
So tell me a little bit about that. How did this come about? How did Rock Avenue USA? How did you guys get hooked up with them?
another band that we're really good friends with called Black Front Inc. The lead singer is Kenny Black. They were signed to a manager, Derek Pitchin, who's 434 Management. He's out of Louisiana. And I think Jason B saw on Kenny's Facebook that they were, or maybe it was Jeff's.
One of them.
Either
Saw it
way,
on
somebody
their
from
band,
Black
yeah.
Front Inc. posted that they were with this manager now.
Okay.
From 434 Management, and Jason tagged me in it and said, "Hey, look into this guy." So I got in contact with him, and he called me back probably within an hour, and he was like, "I love what you guys are doing. Let's get something together." And I've got several contacts with different labels, and we're gonna get you going on this. And went to Pavement first, and then went to, I think he was going to go to Roadrunner and Rock Avenue, but Rock Avenue called us like within a day, and
Yeah, we got picked up by them pretty
really,
quick.
really quick. And we hit the ground running ever since. We had tracks done already that we were already going to release on our own, and we pretty much had to take everything down right away because now we had a label, we were going to get
Right,
them
yeah.
re-released, so we took everything down. We took the tracks that we had done, which was I think about 9, and they wanted 11. So we went in and did 3 more older songs that we'd written years back, and to make 11. And then they took all those tracks and they sent them to Bill Montoyer,
Okay.
who used to be part of Metal Blade. He was an engineer for Metal Blade, and he
Slayer.
Slayer gives him a lot of credit for their success. So he took our tracks and he engineered them and gave them back, and now we're getting ready to release soon.
All right, very cool. I want to get into the music again here, and I don't want to go on for too long, and I actually forgot what I was going to ask you. So, Lurking Inside is the song, and apparently you're a big fan of this one. Why is that?
It's one of our easier songs to drum.
All right.
Oddly enough, as that sounds, it is one of our easier songs to drum to.
All right. So, but not everybody's a big fan of it? Or
But now
what's the
guitar
story?
players don't like it.
It's really fast.
It makes them sweat.
It's really hard for an old guy.
Cramps up
Yeah.
the hand is what I heard,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
a lot
we-
of double bass in it, so I get a real easy
So, groove to it?
groove to it. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
All right, Lurking Inside is here on LCC Radio 89.7. You are listening to the Metal Ball.
Listen to me, you'll see what it means to be free. I'll make your will and it's a myth. It's a call you can't resist. Another night, another game, another time. You're to blame. State your reason is a lie. Just like the shadow last goodbye. Was it a dream? Nothing ever as it seems. It's just a cloud in your mind. With visions difficult to find. An icy breath chills your core. It's your mind forevermore. Your secret's safe, I'll never tell. But now you've earned your place in hell.
LCC Radio 89.7. This is the Metal Ball, and we're coming to you from downtown Lansing. In the studio with me today, or tonight, or this morning, or whatever you want to look at it as, 19 Till Dawn. What is the story behind the name, guys? What is 19
Jason,
Till
you
Dawn?
take that one.
The
Jason
story
H.
behind the name is the most boring story in the world. We really need to get together and come up with some kind of,
Yeah, we need to
big
make up a story. It'd be much more exciting.
Kind of like what Pearl Jam did with their his Aunt Pearl's Jam or something like that.
Yeah.
No, what actually happened was I went to a Avenged Sevenfold concert back in 2011. We'd actually, me and Dean and Joe had already been together for a while at this point, with our stand-in drummer Mark Hogue, who was a drummer for I Remain out of Battle Creek as well. They're also another great band. Give them a little shout out. But he was standing in for us for a little bit just to get our demos done so we could audition drummers. Anyway, I went to Avenged Sevenfold, and they had their banners up on the stage which said the A7X, and I just kind of thought, that's really cool. They have 3 different banners, and it was just a 3 things. The 7 was for the fold, and I just thought it was such a cool thing. I needed to come up with something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought a number had to be in the band because the 7 was cool. So I was like, all right, what can I do? I was reading a lot of Stephen King at the time, and he's got a big central number in Stephen King universe is the number 19. So I was like, okay, 19 what? So I thought 19 to something. Maybe it's counting down to something. So I just came up with Dawn, and I brought it to the other guys, and another guy that was helping us put some stuff together at the time. He wasn't really a member of the band. Name is Ben Morris, who did actually help write Breaking Aside, as a matter of fact.
All right.
But
All
he
right.
he said, okay, well, maybe it should be Till Dawn, not To Dawn, because it really was going to be the letter N for 19, and then the number 2, and then Dawn. So it was going to be N2D, and that was going to be my banner thing. But that kind of, he went, well, it should be 19 Till Dawn, and don't spell out 19, just have the numbers 19 and then 1L until, and everybody was like, perfect.
All right, you're right. It's not an exciting story, but at least you have a story.
Yeah, right.
I've had times where
Told you, long-winded.
I've had times where I've interviewed
Long-winded.
somebody and they're like, I don't know, it's just what we call ourselves.
Yeah.
But you can always come up with something like, I don't know, it was 19 minutes before dawn, and yeah, this is what I
Oh,
said.
we've
we've
done that,
come
and
up-
it's gotten dirty. So
All right, there you go.
We've come up with some nice variables,
Yeah,
like what the name.
I'm trying to keep the radio-friendly version
Exactly.
going on. Yeah, okay. So again, this is 19 Till Dawn. They're out of Battle Creek, and just recently were signed up with Rock Avenue USA out of Los Angeles. Are you guys going to pick up roots and leave us if this progresses to the next level, if you will?
Not to there.
yeah, if we do, I just want to go anywhere south where I don't see white stuff in the winter.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, I just want to play music. Anywhere the music takes us, that's where I'm,
Hawaii would be
Well,
a
that's
good
good.
spot.
I hope you guys don't leave. That very often happens, but we'll still follow you one way or the other, and we'll still call you a part of Michigan, whether you like it or not.
And Michigan's there's always a time to come home again.
So you got a couple of dates coming up over the next months. Go ahead and tell me about those a little bit. So if people want to catch you live, where do they go?
May 4th. Where are we at May 4th?
I believe you said
Is it-
Owasso.
Owasso.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that's Owasso.
Called the Avenue.
Yes, it's a newer venue. I think they're just starting to get some live bands out. I don't know if they were doing just covers before or if they're just doing live bands in general. But we got contacted and asked if we wanted to join this show. It's a place called the Avenue. And then June 1st, we're going to be in Clio for an event that I'm not allowed to name the event yet because it's not officially announced. But it is a yearly event that they do there every year at a venue called the Spider Trap.
Okay. And we should mention too, we talked about it a little bit off mic, but the label at this point in time, you're not able to announce a release date. But obviously, if they stop by your Facebook, once that does happen, you guys are going to make a big production of it.
Yes, it's going to be a full announcement, and it's going to be soon, probably within the next week or so. The date will get announced.
Okay.
But yeah, we haven't been given it yet.
Okay. And then one more time, if people want to find you on the web or not, where do they go?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yep. What else? YouTube.
Yeah.
And then soon will be Spotify and iTunes and all those extra ones that will be as soon as the album gets released.
All right. We're going to finish up with Outside Wire before we do... Am I reading my writing right?
Outside the Wire, yes, sir.
Yes, I did read it right. Wow. I gotta write better when I do this. I usually forget to wear my glasses even. So anyway, so Jason, Chris, Jason, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Big salute to the two members, of course, that aren't here, which is
Dean and Joe.
Dean and Joe. So appreciate you guys coming in and talking with us for a little bit. Why don't you give me a little bit of background on Outside the Wire before we pop into it?
Outside the Wire was one of the first tracks that Chris and Jason sent me while I was gone. They sent me music for it, and I was like, man, this is great. And I was overseas at the time, so my frame of mind was a little bit more oriented towards that. And my job was actually going off base. I was actually sending people back and forth in and out of Iraq. That was what I did. So I had the idea of Outside the Wire, and it just kind of took its own
Life
direction, I guess, and there you have it.
There you go. It's Outside the Wire. It's here on LCC Radio 89.7. This is the Metal Ball. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks a lot.
This is Jason.
This is Jason.
And this is Chris.
We're from 19 Till Dawn out of Battle Creek, and you were listening to the Metal Ball on LCC Radio.
Yeah.